So hi there folks, Simon here. Welcome back to the 2024 January Beginner TAC Tournament. This is the quarterfinals. Again, we are seeing The1Rogue and Spawnoza going at it. They are doing their Blitz Tiebreaker right now. And so the way Blitz Tiebreaker works is it's just the same as the other ones. We're on a 6x6 board. The big change is that instead of having a 15-minute timer and a 10-second increment, we are having a 3-minute timer and a 5-second increment, which, in case you didn't know, is very fast, especially for tech. So they're going to have to play quicker. Also, the way this works is, let's say they split these two games just like they split their original two games. Then they play an extra 2 games. And basically they play 2-game matches until one person wins both games in a 2-game match. And that's just how we're going to do this. And they could be done in 2 games. They could be done in 16 games. You know, you never know. I think 16 is currently our record for the most games played in a Blitz tiebreak like this, which is entirely too many. But yeah. I'll let them know that we are good to go, and we can check out this quarterfinals game. Whoever wins this will be moving on to face Evoshen in the semifinals match. So Evoshen will be in semifinals. He's already there. He got a bye because he got a perfect score in his group, and so did Simonster, and they both moved on immediately to the semifinals. 2 players were going to have to do that regardless, and so it just might as well be the 2 players who got the perfect scores in their groups. And yeah, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to see who's going to come out on top and go into face Evoshen. I will say that this is not updated yet, but Day of Knee did come out victorious against Fork and won in a Blitz tiebreaker against him. And so she will be facing against Simonster. So let's jump right into this game 1 of this Blitz tiebreaker. And we see an A1 place. Will we see opposite, adjacent, or a hug opening? We see opposite corners going straight in for that center control. The The1Rogue did that in their previous games, going straight for that center control. This time, not playing to the left on C4 like they did before. I think they watched the VOD where I said that was a bad play. Then we see Simonster going ahead, dropping that capstone. Great play to drop that cap there. Really interrupts things. And immediately The1Rogue going for that shifting of gears. This, however, is working really in favor for black. White's got to do something about this black threat that's developing. Probably a capstone at C4. The capstone at C4 works really well. Oh, I don't know about that. Oh, luckily, black decided to play at C2 here instead of playing down at B2 or B6, which would have given them momentum. So black had momentum and they gave it up by playing at C3. Because now white has momentum back. So that C3 placement I feel like was potentially a little foolhardy there. So we could see an E1 for an early threat, and that's exactly what we do. Black can come up now with E2 to capture onto E3 and cut that off and go for their own horizontal here, which is not a bad play at all. And that is what they do. Now, what will white do? I think white needs to drop a capstone at C4. The reason being is because it can come down and it can come left. It can interrupt whatever these are. It goes for this horizontal. It can go for this vertical. It is the perfect spot for this white capstone, and that's exactly what they do. They just did it a couple turns later than I wanted them to do it. Okay, so we see a tack threat from black playing for the horizontal here, dropping a flat at F3 would be a road. White can stop this by coming down onto C3, and that's what they do. I think that's the right play here. Black can now renew with another tack threat by playing up at B6 or down at A2. And if white captures left onto b4, they can interrupt that, which I think is probably the play here. Oh, they drop a wall up instead at b6. Also, totally viable play to go. They want to have this capstone here because they want to use this capstone to go around black's capstone for this vertical road threat. I think that's what they're going for. Now, if you really want to make sure that they don't make this vertical threat, you drop another wall here. Doesn't drop another wall, though. That is problematic. Okay, so the wall comes down. This is a strong position for black still, but white is not out of the game yet. Black now shifting gears, going for this horizontal line, also just kind of setting it up so white can't go for this vertical, but also going for their own vertical still, being able to play up at c5, c6 to go for that vertical line. White here, if I'm white, I'm going to want to play at c5. That keeps black from going for that vertical attack threat immediately. Also, it's working towards your own vertical threat. Being able to play at c5, then maybe drop one at c2, d1, c1, something like that. That will keep you alive there. I think c5 is probably the best play here. I'm trying to think of if anything else works out. Yeah, c5 works really well here. I think if c5 is played... Oh, no, not going for it. We're going to see attack threat here from black, probably by playing at c5. No, we're going to see a wall drop to keep white from dropping a flat there to make that attack threat. Very defensive move there. We take a look at the time that these players have. Again, they started with 3 minutes on the clock. They get a 5-second increment. The 1Rogue down to 1.5 minutes on the clock. Spawnoza down to 2 minutes 20. So Spawnoza playing quite a bit faster here. White does play that c5 move. Black plays over here at d5. If I'm white, I might decide to drop a flat here at c2, make the attack threat. Because black can make one on the next turn, but they're not threatening right now. Not threatening a road at the moment. So I would probably drop at c2. But black can make a threat by placing at d6 or c6 here, or by capturing left onto c5, or by capturing up. Oh no, they can't capture up. If they capture up with a capstone, that's going to land them in a spot of trouble because white would be able to throw that capstone over onto e3. All right, instead, white playing up top. I'm not sure what the idea is behind playing up top. I think it's mainly to protect this c5 flat. But like I said, black can play a flat at d6 and still make the road. Or not the road, but the road threat, at least. Not going to do that. Instead, going to come over with that wall for the self-capture. Probably planning on spreading that upward to really just get in the way of everything that white's going for here. But now white can sort of combat that. I was going to say white could combat that and make a threat just by placing at c2 here. But instead, they play over to the side to keep black from placing there, I guess. I still think c2 would have been the better play there to get that going. But the 1Rogue is down below 1 minute on the clock, down to 40 seconds here. It is crunch time. This is now attack threat for white. White coming right with e4 would be a road here. Black spreads up, stops the road threat, also makes their own threat. White's going to have to do something about that. Probably take this d4 and move it left. That would cut off the threat and make their own threat. Instead, bringing the capstone up, which is also attack threat, throwing the capstone all the way here to f4. A little bit sneaky, and maybe something that oh, he missed it. He missed it. It is Blitz. Will she take it? Did she see it? She may not see her own road. She's taking too long here. She hasn't seen it. She missed her own road. She missed it. Oh no. She had the win. She had the win and missed it. Okay, so We see some frantic play over here. Black was going for threats. White comes down with the wall. White can make a new threat by playing down at C2 here again, or by bringing that D4 left onto C4. White could also, do some subpar moves. Not anymore. But Black is going for this. That was a real shame. They missed their own win there. White dropping a wall here so they can capture up onto E4. Really want that big stack. I get that. Makes sense. I would want that stack also. Let's see. What's the play here? I mean, as Black, you can come up with this capstone onto D4. That's really good because now you're threatening to smash and make a road. And so, oh, missed it. Now Black's going to smash, make the road here. No, he missed his win as well. Black is missing his own win. He missed the win. Okay, and there's still a win there. And Black still didn't see it. Oh, now the win is gone. Oh my goodness. That was hard. That was 2 turns where there was a win. Now we've had both players miss their own wins, but White is down to 14 seconds on the clock. Solo time. This is tough. White making attack threat here, being able to play at C2 would be a road. Black can spread across with the capstone. That's what they do. White can come over onto C4. Or play a flat. Dropping a flat is a attack threat. That stack comes back. White can play up here, dropping a wall instead. Frantic play from the one-rogue down below 20 seconds on the clock. Black going for this horizontal road threat. White making the threat now. Black going to come over with that capstone probably onto C4 to cut that off. Make that threat. White's going to have to do something here. Probably come... Nope, they missed the road from Black. Oh no, this is not a road for Black. Wait, why isn't it a road for Black? Oh, because Black brought the whole stack over instead of just partly. Could have had that. And now White making a attack threat here down in the horizontal. Black comes down with that flat to interrupt that. White placing there in between to stop this from developing into a horizontal. Black can make the threat here by placing at B4. Now Spawnoza is down at 20 seconds on the clock. This is attack threat for Black. White has very little that they can do at this point. Now this stack is probably going to move over. No, but if they move over, then White comes up. Well, eventually, not immediately. But yeah, White's going to have to come left with F5 to interrupt that. Black spreads down in an interesting way. White playing an F1. Black setting up for a threat. I thought White would play over here for sure. Okay, White comes over with that wall stack. Going to spread upwards, I imagine, to cut off that threat. Yes. Not making a threat at the moment, but sort of camping this spot out. This wall stack might move up to F4. That's what they do. Maybe drop a flat here at E3. Oh, wait, what was that capture? Oh yeah, because of the road threat. That was smart. Okay. Now from here, you capture left with this big stack. I would have captured with more, but Um, capturing down. Oh, this is a road for white. If white no, white missed their own road again. They missed their road again. F3 left would have been a win. They missed it. Oh no, what's going on? It is so hard. Okay, you spread this left now. You got to spread this stack left. It's the only way. Okay, the capstone works too. Oh my goodness. I can barely follow this anymore. The moves are coming quick and they're not making sense to me a lot of the time. Spawnoza was down below the 10-second mark. White going for that road. I'll be incredibly surprised. This game might go to flats, even though both players have had multiple times that they could have won with a road. They each have 2 flats left. I don't even know what the flat count is. Nine for white. It's changing too much. I can't follow. Is that a threat for white? Might have been. Might have been. Oh my goodness. What is even happening anymore? This is just... I can't follow this. They're playing too quickly and it's too variable. This wall needs to come left to stop the road. Or just drop a wall there, that works too. To stop the drawbridge threat. But that's your penultimate flat. 11 for black. 9 for white. So white, you gotta make... You dropped your last flat and you lost. Black wins on flats at the end. Oh my goodness. That, I will say, that was one of the most heartbreaking matches I have ever seen. Both players missing their own road threats multiple times and then ending with a player who has multiple positive flat count differential moves available to them, placing their last flat and losing on flats. Very, very heartbreaking to watch that, I will say. But congratulations to Spawnoza for winning game 1. Let's see if Spawnoza wins game 2 as white. He will move on to the semifinals against Evoshen. If the The1Rogue wins as black, they will repeat this match again and go for 2 more games. That was wild. Absolutely wild. You could tell I was having a hard time keeping up with the moves there at the end. They were coming so fast, and they weren't following the sequence that I was expecting. Typically, I have a pretty good idea of, you know, where people are going to play and what moves they're going to make because they tend to be some of the better moves. This one, people were making different moves there. Not to say that they were bad or anything. Some of the moves were bad. I will say missing your own road threat is a bad move. But when you are down on time like this, that is huge. Huge. The time controls for these Blitz games are incredibly stressful and make you miss threats, miss things all the time. So it is very much a different game. But here we are with game 2 in this Blitz with Spawnoza in white and the The1Rogue in black. Let's see if we can get a better game out of this one with them being more familiar with the time controls. All right, we see an A6 in the corner, and then adjacent corners here. White going immediately into that knight's opening. Keeping that momentum up, going for that vertical line. Spawnoza does really enjoy to go for these sort of edge crawly openings. This is Capstone going to drop at D2. We've seen this in his other games against the one-rogue on their full-time games. Great Capstone placement from Black here. Really, really solid. Able to really get into the mix of what White is doing and just interrupt everything. So we've got the first tack threat of the game. Black probably coming down with that Capstone. Exactly what they do. Really, really cuts things off. And then Black comes up with that flat. That stack can be protected by this Capstone if he wants to self-capture. Or if she wants to self-capture here, she can do that. Jump down onto E3. Or can continue to play out... Oh, an interesting wall placement. This is attack threat now for White, being able to throw that Capstone all the way to F3. Wall comes up for the self-capture. Interesting play. And the smash, and now we're probably going to see an F3 plus. Nope. We see the Capstone come over. All right, White is in a very commanding position here, really playing hard for these edge crawls. Spawnoza likes to play these edge crawls. Now, it works for a lot of these beginner tournament games. I think once he moves into the intermediates, he'll see that these edge crawls on 6x6 not gonna be the way to play. Yes, I have played edge crawls in 6x6 in tournament games even, and some other people have that are high ranked. I think I've even seen Aliano2 do that. But I don't think that's what you want to be going for here. A long term is playing lots of edge crawl openings, edge crawl games. You want to have a little bit more variety and be able to switch gears. But if you're playing in these beginner tournaments, a lot of times you'll catch people out who are not as familiar with these edge crawl openings and will fall to the common sort of tricks that come with the edge crawl. And you'll see them get stuck in a position like Black is right now with that Capstone up against the wall, really unable to do anything, unable to get into the game. White going for a second edge crawl. Black comes over with that wall, cuts that off. There really is going to be no opportunity to go for that horizontal here unless that Capstone gets involved. Black, however, can go for a vertical here. Could play up at like D5, for example, and go for D6 to make that that vertical road threat. And if anything captures onto C1, that wall is there to recapture onto it. White now ready to come over. Yep, right onto D3, interrupting that threat. Also able to come left. Now that White has this Capstone here, has this spot opened up, able to come left and just go for the horizontal, go for this vertical up here. Got a lot of options. Yep, gonna go for that horizontal right now. White is in a very, very strong position here. Black playing up at C5. This is probably to set up for a capture onto C4. Yep, exactly what happened. Then the capture onto C4. A wall drop. Instead of a recapture, gonna go for the wall drop. Interestingly, White not spreading that stack out, allowing that wall to recapture onto that that big stack there. Not sure what the idea behind that was. I think the idea behind that is that black really doesn't have any option to go for any threat right now. Their own walls are blocking them in a few ways to do that, and it just makes things a little bit tougher. White playing up, I guess going for that vertical now. Black can play for the horizontal here, can play up at c6, e6, and then be able to throw that capstone up to f6. But finding stuff that works for black is pretty tough here. I will say, pretty tough. White has a lot of options, however. Black not making a threat, but making progress towards one. White now making a threat in the horizontal direction. Playing a flat here at d3 would be a road for white. Black can play a flat here to go for their own road threat if they would like, but it would result probably in a smash on c2, which is another threat horizontally, and one that I don't think they can stop, and missed that. I believe that was Tinue. Yes, it was 100% Tinue, but white missed their Tinue, which isn't as bad as missing your immediate road. But yes, that c2 smash would have been Tinue there. Black making their threat here. White cutting it off. Will we see b6 capture left onto a6? I think that's a safe play. A wall at a5 would work really well here, I think, for white. b6 not so much. It seems like b6 would be an obvious place for a wall there, but if you place a wall at b6, black spreads down away from it. Interesting play to play just a flat there. Black's going to recapture with this one. Now they've got the road threat still. White captures left. White can still smash this for Tinue. They've had this option for 3-4 turns now. Haven't done it though. This is a road threat for white. Spreading to the right or spreading up does that. Black can cut this off by a spread down with this b6 stack. They can spread it down to cut that off. That is the only play that stops both of those threats. And they missed both of the threats entirely and just played a flat. White can win now, and they do so with a vertical spread. Spawnoza has won this Blitz match, which means Spawnoza moves on to the semifinals against Evoshen. So congratulations to Spawnoza. These were some wild Blitz games. But now you are going on to big leagues against Evoshen in the semifinals. So congratulations on that. And that was, I will say, those were some wild games. Blitz is a completely different animal. When I have played in Blitz tournaments, and when anyone plays in Blitz tournaments, the quality of play decreases significantly, and people are more susceptible to just panic playing in Blitz, even if they're not low on time particularly. For me, I start to panic if I'm below 5 minutes on the clock, and Blitz starts at 3. So I start to panic before the game begins, which is why you don't see me play in basically any Blitz tournaments. But that is all for today. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out the description below for all things TAC, especially the TAC Discord server, which is the community hub and where you can find all sorts of TAC resources like strategy guides and people to play with, whether that be right here on playtac.com or asynchronously in the Discord server itself. lots and lots of resources, lots of people to play with, lots of great fun to be had playing tag. So until next time, have a great day and happy tagging.